Ever feel like your doctor's just like going through the motions when they do that quick pulse check?
Hmm.
Well, get ready to have your mind blown because today we're diving into a world where your pulse reveals way more than just your heart rate.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking ancient Ayurvedic secrets with Nadi Pariksha,
Yeah.
pulse diagnosis that's like a window into your entire well-being.
Good morning. My name is Monica Gruber, or Manjulali as my students call me. That's my spiritual name. I am an Ayurveda practitioner for a long time, many, many years. And one of the things I teach is Ayurvedic Nadi Pariksha or pulse assessment. This is not the pulse that your doctors check. This is more an energetic Nadi or energetic pulse that's checking your meridians, your mental, physical, spiritual channels, your chakras, your yogic nadis. Ayurvedic practitioners are not allowed to treat, cure, prevent any disease. But what is this Nadi pulse assessment that we are talking about? This is an energetic Nadi meridians of pulsating energy through our body. That's what we'll be talking about. Now, I took a couple of my Nadi teaching videos and I took some documents and I fed it into the Google Notebook LM, and it came with a quite an interesting 8-minute podcast. And it's all AI, but it was really interesting how they did it. So I'm going to put that AI bit. These are not humans, they are AI generated podcasts that'll come. And then I will discuss what they said after that.
We're talking ancient Ayurvedic secrets with Nadi Pariksha,
Yeah.
pulse diagnosis that's like a window into your entire well-being.
It really is. It's incredible.
Yes,
isn't it? Imagine feeling someone's pulse and being able to tell if they're like full of energy or completely burnt out.
wow.
That's the kind of depth Nadi Pariksha offers.
And we've got two really amazing sources for this deep dive.
Okay.
One's a YouTube video showing exactly how it's done,
Cool.
and the other is a document that goes deep into the spiritual side,
Yeah.
specifically a system called Narayana Nadi.
Interesting.
So we're covering both the how and the woe of pulse reading. Are you ready to get your learn on? Because I am so ready to unpack this.
Yeah, let's do it. It's fascinating stuff.
So first things first, what can our pulses actually tell us?
Okay, so think of your pulse as a messenger,
Okay.
delivering like personalized insights about your doshas.
Okay, quick refresher for our listeners. Doshas are like these energetic blueprints that make you you.
Right.
There's Vata, the airy on the go type,
Hmm.
Pitta, the fiery, ambitious one,
Mm-hmm.
and Kapha, the grounded, steady as a rock energy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nadi Pariksha teaches us to feel the pulse at specific points, and the quality of that pulse tells us which dosha is dominant and whether those energies are balanced or if one's, throwing a little tantrum.
Yeah. And the video actually shows us how to do it right.
It does.
They actually demonstrate the finger placement.
Yeah, they do. It's not as simple as just slapping your fingers on your wrist.
Right.
The video emphasizes feeling for the pulse perpendicular to the bone, just beside the artery, not directly on it.
So it's about being super subtle, almost like you're eavesdropping on your own body.
And that's where the practice comes in. The more you get to know those subtle variations, the more you can decipher those messages your pulse is sending.
It's like learning a whole new language.
Totally.
It's like in the beginning, it's just a bunch of beeps and boops, but then you
Yeah.
start to understand the nuances.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of which, the video had this awesome analogy. It said that a Vata pulse can feel frog-like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that a great visual? Suddenly you're not just feeling for a pulse, you're imagining a tiny frog doing jumping jacks under your fingers.
Exactly. It makes it so much tangible.
That was incredible. First of all, it seems real. It seems like two actual people are talking. So that's all fascinating. They took the introduction document of Narayana Nadi. I like the way they changed the language to make it easy to understand. For example, delivering personalized insights about your doshas and what are doshas, energetic blueprints that make you absolutely correct. And then goes on to describe the Vata Pitta Kapha. And I also like the frog doing jumping jacks. I mean, when I teach, I said, you can feel the pitta pulse jumping like a frog, but I've never used the word jumping jacks. That was amazing. I also like the fact that they picked up how to place the fingers. I'm very, very impressed. Let's move forward.
In fact, while we're talking about this, why don't you, listeners, see if you can find your own pulse?
Yeah.
Just take a second to feel it. What do you notice? Any flutters? Any surges? It's amazing how much information our body's constantly sending us.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You see, Nadi Pariksha, particularly this Narayana Nadi system we'll get into, dives way deeper. We're talking intuition, subtle energies, even spiritual insights.
Whoa.
This isn't just about counting beats per minute. It's about tapping into a whole other level of understanding.
Okay, hold on to your hats, folks, because this is where things get really interesting. We're about to explore that deeper dimension of Nadi Pariksha and uncover how it all works. Okay, so we've like dipped our toes into the practical side, like actually feeling the pulse.
Right.
But the document we have dives into some pretty deep waters with this Narayana Nadi system.
Yeah.
It's like Nadi Pariksha 2.0.
Yeah.
So what's the big secret? What makes this system so special?
Well, what's fascinating here is that Narayana Nadi views the pulse as like a bridge
Okay.
between the physical body and what's often called the subtle body, that energetic field that kind of surrounds us. It's not just about the mechanics of the pulse. It's about tapping into the information carried within that energy.
Okay, so it's not enough to just have like the right finger placement. You need to be in the right headspace too, right?
Absolutely. The document really emphasizes that both the practitioner and the person getting their pulse read should go through purification rituals beforehand.
Okay, so we're talking like mental prep, maybe some meditation, clearing out the cobwebs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. In the video in my document, I talk about, take a bath, make sure you're clean, make sure you haven't eaten. The person who's doing the nadi, not one who's getting their nadi checked, also needs to be clean and not having eaten much. But the person who's taking the nadi has to become a medium so that the higher energy is flowing through them and they're able to tune into their client's energy. I love that it's said that it's super subtle and almost like you're eavesdropping on your own body. And that's why it needs a lot of practice and a lot of subtle variation. Just FYI, when a person is learning Nadi Pariksha for the first time or new, we first, at least with me, my students, I teach them the divination of the face. So they do some Vedic face reading. They also look at the tongue. Otherwise, it'll take 1 hour just to do the Nadi Pariksha. So they've looked at the tongue and they found an area that this is what they want to confirm. They've looked at the face, maybe the right side of the face, which of the eyebrow, which represents a liver, has a line there. And also on the tongue, there is some redness in that area, which represents the liver. And then you check the nadi on your middle finger and see if there's a frog nadi to check for that liver energy or pitta energy. So this is kind of how it works.
Okay, so we're talking like mental prep, maybe some meditation, clearing out the cobwebs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it goes even further.
Right.
The document mentions using specific mantras.
Okay.
Those are kind of like sacred sounds or phrases to invoke deities in their fingers.
Wait, hold up. Deities and their fingers.
It sounds pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that by connecting with these higher energies, the practitioner can amplify their intuition and tap into a deeper level of knowledge about the person's health and well-being.
So it's like they're going from basic pulse reading to having some kind of energetic X-ray vision.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And remember how we talked about the importance of the 3 fingers in basic Nadi Pariksha?
Yes.
Well, in the Narayana Nadi system, those fingers represent the 3 main energy channels or nadis that run through the body, the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna.
Wait a minute. Those nadis correspond to the 3 doshas too, don't they?
Exactly.
It's all coming together.
You got it. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of everything.
Right.
The physical pulse and those energy channels and the balance of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Wow.
They all paint a picture of a person's overall well-being.
This is blowing my mind. But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
How does understanding all this actually translate into everyday life?
Right.
What can you do with this information?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And that's what we're going to explore next. We'll bridge the gap between this deep spiritual understanding of Nadi Pariksha and how it can be used to make choices that improve our health and well-being.
So we've gone from basic finger placement to invoking deities in our fingers.
Right.
To get a better read on our well-being. It's a lot to take in.
It is.
So let's bring it all together. What's the takeaway here? How can understanding our pulse and our dominant dosha actually make a difference in our lives?
Well, that's what's so empowering about Ayurveda. It's not just about diagnosing what's wrong. It's about understanding your unique constitution and making choices that support your well-being.
So it's like having a personalized instruction manual for your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember the YouTube video talked about how allergies might show up differently in someone with a Vata imbalance compared to someone with a Kapha imbalance?
Yeah, so even though they're having the same symptoms, the underlying cause and the way they would approach healing would be totally different.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're feeling that frog-like Vata pulse we talked about,
Mm.
and you've been feeling anxious, maybe
Oh.
having trouble sleeping.
Sounds like classic Vata out of balance, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Ayurveda gives us a clear roadmap for what to do. Knowing that Vata thrives on warmth grounding routines,
Hmm.
you might prioritize cozy cooked meals,
Mm-hmm.
calming activities like gentle yoga, and a regular sleep schedule.
Okay, so it's like having a personalized toolkit for bringing your body back into balance.
And the best part is with practice, you can catch these imbalances early before they turn into bigger issues.
Mm.
It's all about listening to those whispers from your body instead of waiting for them to become screams.
That makes a lot of sense for long-term stuff, but can Nadi Pariksha pick up on those like day-to-day ups and downs too?
Absolutely. Remember how the video mentioned those like temporary imbalances, the Vikriti?
Mm-hmm.
Those can be triggered by anything from what you eat to how stressed you are, even the weather.
Wait, so your pulse is basically giving you real-time feedback on your
Yeah,
choices.
got it. Let's say you overdid it on spicy food.
Yeah.
You're feeling that heat right.
Mm-hmm.
Your pulse might reflect that pitta energy, reminding you to favor cooling foods and activities for a bit.
It's like our body's constantly talking to us, and Nadi Pariksha is helping us finally understand the language.
And that's where I think the beauty of both the practical and the spiritual sides of Nadi Pariksha really shines through.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating this deep awareness of your inner landscape,
Mm-hmm.
learning to listen to those subtle cues and make choices that align with your well-being.
So it seems like Nadi Pariksha is more than just a diagnosis tool. It's like a path to deeper self-awareness.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it begs the question, if we incorporate those purification rituals and mantras from the Narayana Nadi system, could we enhance those insights even further?
Right.
It's a fascinating thought.
It is. It really makes you wonder about the potential of this ancient practice. And that's what we're all about here at the Deep Dive, getting curious and asking those big questions. So, listeners, if this piqued your interest, don't stop here. This is just the beginning of a fascinating journey into the world of Ayurveda. Do your own research, maybe even find a qualified practitioner and see what your pulse can tell you.
Wow, that was so fascinating. So, one of the things I didn't understand, and it's been mentioned throughout the video as well as in the Narayana Nadi system documents, that Ayurveda is not allowed to treat, cure, diagnose anything. And we use the word pulse, but it's not the medical pulse. We are putting our fingers on the same area where the pulse is, where you can get your heart rate, but we are not checking for the heart rate. We are checking for the subtle energies, the energetic system here. Wow. So let me know what you thought of AI taking my Nadi system and compiling it. Overall, I was pretty impressed.